So today we're changing the slide floor on this Montana. So far we've already taken off the piece of metal that goes here, which is down there. It was just screws along this. We took those out. We took off this side rail, the side rail that goes along here. At this point, the only things we need left to do, we're going to support it with these pieces of wood here. We're going to take the screws out here, drill that piece of wood into this piece of siding here, undo the bolts here on this bar, and then we're going to loosen these two nuts on the back side here, and we're going to lower this all the way down. What that's going to do is that's going to bring this bar down, and then we're going to be able to retract it in without moving the room. The room's going to stay in place, and since it's on the wood, it's going to be supported. It won't be supported by this anymore. So let's go ahead and get that done. So, this is actually the first time I've ever run into this. This isn't common. Most of them are done a different way. So if you see here, we have the nuts on the bottom, which means the bolts coming through the top. Generally, and this is 99% of these campers, they're gonna be screwed from the bottom up. This manufacturer decided to make it difficult and go from the top down. So I'm gonna go inside and see if I can see the heads to these. Without having to take wall panels off. If we can, we're just going to pull them up out of the floor. Otherwise, yeah, we're probably going to cut them off. So let's go take a look inside and see what we got here. Ah, perfect. So they do come up through the floor. So we're just going to hammer them up. Not too big of a deal. All right, so at this point, we've got the room supported on these two 2x4s. This bar is completely disconnected. And the only thing we have left is our electrical. So, to cover my butt, I'm not gonna show you how to do that. You can figure out how to disconnect and reconnect electrical on your own. But, come in here. So I've got a 110 volt connection right here, and then next to that I've got some 12 volt connections here. So I'm going to disconnect those now, and then we'll be about ready to start pulling this floor up. Alright, like the exterior braces, we also need to raise up and kind of get some leverage on this interior so that when we go to put the floor in, there's not a lot of downward pressure. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this 4x4, a big pry bar, and then we're going to lift this up and we're going to set some wood underneath here where it's not going to be in the way of our floor when we go to put our floor back in. So, alright. Yay! Now we can see the floor is actually off, and we're sitting up on this piece of wood here. So when we go to put the new floor in, we've got a little bit of clearance here where we can get it in there. Good. Alright, now that we got all of the components and stuff out of the way, we've got screws. Actually, this is that's a screw. We've got our bolt holes, but we also have screws that hold this into the wall. We've got some along here as well. So we're going to take all these screws out, and as soon as we take these screws out, this floor should drop down. So I'm actually going to extend that back out a little bit to hold the floor. So when I take the screws out, it doesn't just fall on the ground. But yeah, we're almost there to get this floor up. and we got the new floor here ready to go in. We actually did just end up taking the 2 bolts out on each piece of this bar and taking the whole bar off to give me some more clearance to get the new floor in. Once I get the new one kind of set in place and tacked up with a couple screws, we'll put this bar back on. But for now, it was sitting kind of like right here, and it would have given us this much room to get this floor slid in. So I'd rather not struggle any more than necessary. So we're gonna put this new floor in here. Let's do it. All right, so we've got the floor back in. We screwed in, into the wall. We screwed in along the side, and it's there. It's ready to put everything back on that we took off. So we took this bar off to get the bolts back in there. We're going to come up into the same bolt holes that we used before. So I'm going to come through the bolt hole here, drill up into the floor, and then I should be able to bring my bolts down from the inside like I removed. And we'll do that all the way along. We'll drill a hole here to pull our electrical wires down through. We'll reconnect everything, reconnect the 12 volt, reconnect the 110, and then we'll remove our boards here and here, and we'll be done. You gotta put, of course, put the metal siding back on and everything, but for the most part, that's the whole process on how to replace the slide floor.